Live on Facebook. Oops, no. All right, where did these slides go? Okay, we can see the slides again. Okay, so the book is called Launch by Jeff Walker. So you guys can answer each other in the comments. This is it right here. This is what it looks like. Okay, it's blue. Okay, so first of all, just a little recap. Why do we want to launch online? Because I know a lot of us are more comfortable still with the in-person, the belly to belly, picking up the phone. But why is this important for us in 2022? There's been 3 huge changes since online marketing's come about. Number 1, speed of communication, right? So before, it would take time to reach our customers. Now you get to reach them in a few minutes, even seconds. Okay, so do not let your idea to consumption. So you have your idea, you create your social post, you create, anything you want to do for your marketing, to when your customer receives it. Don't let it be weeks or months. Let it be minutes. Okay, a part of this launch sequence is going to be really exciting for you guys because you're going to be able to move quicker in talking to your audience. A lot of times I'll see people, they'll take the training and they'll let it ruminate, they'll come up with ideas, but they never execute it. How many of you from trainings, whether I've done or another trainer's done, you've walked away with a lot of notes, a lot of great ideas, and you have yet to pull the trigger on anything? Right? A lot of us, you're waiting months, years in order to launch something because of, like those things I said, fear, perfectionism, a lot of different things. We need to move quicker. And we're going to talk about why that is so much easier because we're going to create conversations, right? So another big thing, cost of communication, even a decade ago, it would have cost you $1,000, thousands of dollars to be able to really reach your audience, whether it was mail outs, whether it was putting an ad, whether it was even something as paying for a booth at a trade show, right? These are things that cost money. This is free. You are able to get on there with almost no barrier to entry. Okay, I just want to remind this to kind of spark our energy again about online. And then we have interactivity. When your followers respond to your content or your posts, you have access to all kinds of tracking data. You have instant feedback, which means you can make adjustments to your plan. And when we go through the example, I'm going to share a personal example that I actually did yesterday that I can show you guys what I mean by that. But when you are going to launch something, when you want to market a product, when you have an idea, talk to your audience the entire way through. Because they'll tell you whether or not it's a good idea. They'll tell you whether or not they want to do a challenge group with you. They'll tell you whether or not they want to do coaching with you, right? But we need to have this constant conversation. And what I love about campaigns, we're calling it a campaign. It can be a marketing sequence. Always turn your marketing into an event. Right? We get excited. We go to an event like Momentum and we launch Mighty Bears. We launch the Happy Gut Box. We get excited about these things. And what do? Because we're so amped up, we grab our phones, we post Mighty Bears. We say, something even mightier is coming. DM me if you want to grab our newest Mighty Bears. Right? We talk about some of the benefits. And then we sit there, we get off our phone, we finish up the event, we go have dinner with our spouse. And then 3 days later we go, no one really cares about Mighty Bears because nobody messaged me, nobody ordered. I'm just going to post it again. And we do the same thing over and over again and we don't get results. It's because you're not making it exciting enough. You're not talking to your customers online. You're not speaking to their pain points. So when we think about something, this is one of the hard things. When we're at an event, we need to go, okay, how can I use this? It's not just how can I take this and post it and hope for the best. It's how can I really turn this into something exciting for my customers? Like I mentioned, your marketing needs to be a conversation because people find conversations a lot more interesting than monologues or lectures. Right? Have you ever been in a conversation, quote unquote conversation with somebody, and they're like, maybe you call up a friend on the phone and they're like blabbing to you for like an hour and you don't even get a word in. And then they're like, all right, thanks, I gotta go. Was that an enjoyable conversation for you? No. right? We want to feel engaged in what we're doing, whether that is through emotion. So when you watch a television program, we are engaged because what? We've fallen in love with the characters. We want to see how it ends. We're invested because it's evoking all this emotion. To when we're online, right? The best Facebook Lives I've ever been on is when the host of the Facebook Live is also communicating and talking to the audience, right? Even here, I love that I can see you guys on video, right? Because I'm seeing you guys nodding, I'm seeing eye contact, right? If you guys weren't on video right now, this would, even though I'm doing most of the talking, this would be even more like a monologue or lecture. And you get to what? Tune out. You get to go, oh, Lindsay's blabbing. I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk away, right? Like I'm looking at Joan right now. I can see her. She's like, I got to pay attention now because Lindsay's looking at me. She noticed that I'm here, right? It's a conversation. There's more than one person that is involved. And so when we think about our marketing, when we think about how we're going to show up online, whether it's to promote Mighty Bears, whether it is to promote the Happy Gut Box or anything else that we're doing, any other product in the line that you want to get people excited about, even if you want to get people just excited about aloe, right? And the possibilities there, right? We have to look at how can I create a conversation? That always needs to be where we start. So let's look at how to do that. So one of the first things, and I'm going to break down exactly how Jeff Walker does his sequencing for you guys in a minute, but this is one of the first things that he teaches, and it's something that I have always done. It's get feedback first from your audience, okay? You want to create the conversation. Stop shouting, buy my stuff, right? We start to look like we're a bulletin board, or we're like a spam page, or we're just an ad taken out in a, in a magazine. We want to create really cool conversations. So something really easy that you could post to your page, you could send as a message to some of your customers, could sound something like, hey, I have this really cool natural ingredient my company is investing in, and I just came up with an idea to create a private challenge group that teaches people about this secret ingredient. So I'm talking about aloe. I'm not going right into here's why aloe is amazing. I'm piquing people's interest. Actually, I don't know if it's really a secret, but I'm not seeing many others talking about this natural powerhouse. I've had many clients, friends, and family use this ingredient, and it works. In any case, before I create this group, oops, that's not supposed to have an end there, I want to make sure I cover everything. So can you help me out and tell me, what is your biggest challenge when you're trying to create new habits and results for your health? What am I gaining from just this post? Number one, I'm not selling people and they're not scrolling by. Number two, I'm asking for conversation. I'm saying, hey, you, I need your opinion. What you say matters. I'm piquing their interest with, well, what is this ingredient that they're talking about? I put in there, maybe it's not secret, but I'm not really seeing people talk about it, but the people who are seeing amazing results, right? So we're adding in a little testimonial there. We're adding in a little bit of that case study, right? Some social proof. And then we're saying, before I go ahead and do this, I want to make sure it's everything you want it to be. I want to make sure it's valuable for you. So what is your biggest challenge? You're going to get answers from this, and those answers are going to what? Inform the rest of your marketing. You're going to go, I know exactly what to talk about in my group. I know exactly what their pain points are, right? Because I've been so sick, I've had to pause all of my one-on-one clients because there's no way that I can sit on calls with everyone. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to put out a course. So I did this exact same thing yesterday. I said, hey guys, I have an awesome idea for an audio-based work at your own pace course. Here's why I'm excited about it. It's coursework that I use with my clients. It's been successful for them. And I want to give you the opportunity to go through it on your own. And then I asked them questions. I walked through, I said, what is your biggest hurdle about this? If you could talk to me for one session, what is the main thing? What's the main topic you would ask me? And what's held you back from working with someone like me? And I had 204 people respond with answers and information. And guess what I did? I wrote all that down. And it informed, I know exactly what my course is going to look like because my customers just told me everything that they're struggling with. I know exactly how I'm going to deliver it because they told me how they like to learn best. I'm asking the questions. It could be great. You could go from here. Listen to you guys, heard about your biggest hurdles. Now I'm getting really excited about this, event that I'm launching. How often do you want to hear from me in this group? Would you prefer a 10-day challenge, or would you prefer to hear from me once a week over the next 3 months or 60 days or whatever? Ask questions, create conversations. This is going to get people excited about what's to come, right? How many of you would read something like this and go, but I want to know what that ingredient is. I want to know what they're talking about. I see this all day long online. Right now, like there's everyone in my feed is talking a lot about like collagen, for example, and I'll see people post like one hand to another, right? Like this was my hand before, this is my hand after. Do you want to know what I'm using? Just nice and simple, that's it. Do you want to know what I'm using? Because they're leading with what? The possibility of a transformation, something that could be really powerful for them. We're so quick to jump to the product. Why? Because you believe in the product. You know the product works. You're like, the product should stand for itself. It should speak for itself. It is amazing. You just need to get on it. But that's because you've already gone through all the steps to fall in love with the product. You've seen the transformations in yourself. You've looked at the science. You've been to the events. You've heard Al and Landon and Sona and Dr. Nugent talk about all of these things. You are already in love. You're ready to say yes to the ring, but everyone else is like, I haven't even been on a first date with you, right? So you got to create that sense of conversation. So Olga just asked, do you recommend posting something like this in stories or in my Facebook feed, or both? Wherever, both. And then see where you start to always get the most engagement. For me, I do stories on my Instagram because that's where I get the most interaction. Right. And I like the gamification of stories that you can do. They have different things that we can add to it. It could be like yes or no questions. It can be, the question box. If you look on Instagram or Facebook, there's different buttons and call to action buttons that you can add to your post. And people like to play. People like to click buttons. People like to give their opinion. So try both, right? This can go anywhere. This can, like I said, could even be a private message. All right, we're going to go on, like I said, doing a big overview today. We'll continue to kind of dig into this a little bit more. So you cannot ever rely on one single marketing message. Instead, you need to think in sequences, right? How many of us have posted something like one time and it doesn't work, and so we move on, right? Or we think, good, I checked that off the box. I shared Mighty Bears to my audience. I am a good associate. Check. On to the next thing, right? We're just doing things for the sake of doing a task versus what is the goal? Do I want to accomplish from this? So let's look at this. Oh, I popped in this question too. So even think about this in a series, what book or movie is the most popular? The first book or the last book? The last book, right? Because it gains traction over time. People get more and more excited as the new content comes out. You get more and more excited about, I can't wait for, I loved the Bridgerton show. If anyone watched Bridgerton, and I'm like waiting for the next season to come out, and more people are excited about that because it gains momentum. You guys don't even write a whole book. You write like the first page of a first book and you post it and you go, nobody cares. I gotta write a new book. No, post, share, think of your marketing, put it out there, but you have to keep going, knowing that you're going to get the most interaction at the end and not with the first post, right? Your first post, especially if you don't have a hyper engaged audience, what do you expect from it? Do you think you're really just going to post something about Mighty Bears and go viral because the internet is like just waiting for this post? everyone woke up today to see it. No, we have to build the excitement for it. And it takes time, right? I love, Eric Worre says that, other people say it. Ray Higdon, go for no, right? What do they always say? Go for no. 9 no's to a yes, right? Kind of little like fun statistics thing. But again, it reminds us that it takes time. Sona shared months ago, I believe it was in Emerge, about a leader in another company that held an open house every single day at his business. And like for 200 days or something, I can't remember the specifics, but nobody came. But he still held it. And then suddenly everyone started coming, right? Your last post, your last effort is always going to be the most exciting. So stop giving up before you get there. Okay, so let's break this down into 4 different sections of a sequence. So when you're thinking of, you want to talk about anything, you want to post Mighty Bears, let's think about it. And not like you just even want to post it. You want to launch it. You want to make this exciting. Let's look at it in 4 different segments. Number 1 is called the pre-launch. This is where you're going to start to build some anticipation among your followers and customers. That example of what I showed you, the, hey, my company is investing in this really amazing ingredient. I'm thinking of doing this. That's a pre-launch post. It's just letting people know that, hey, something's coming, but I want to make sure it's perfect for you. So what would you like from it? You could post that question and maybe one of your customers, I don't know, Mary says, do you know what? Actually, I would love to see this from it, right? She says, I would love some daily accountability. That's where I really mess up on things. I would love, to be able to check in with you every day in some capacity. Great. I'm going to include that in my group. If you didn't ask the question and you didn't include that, you said, hey guys, I'm going to talk to you guys once a week. Mary goes, this isn't for me. And guess what? She doesn't even tell you that. Most no's tell you with their feet, not their mouths. You guys understand what I mean by that? They just walk away. Most people aren't calling you up to go, hey, so I saw your social media post and I just wanted to let you know it didn't really resonate with me. Okay, thank you. Bye. Right? No, people only pick up the phone and call us when they're saying yes. Otherwise, they just scroll past. They walk away. They, same thing, restaurant, you never go back, whatever. Talk with your feet. So you have to ask the questions so you can create exactly what your customers want. You can make even your best customers feel extra special by letting them know first. You could say, hey, I'm going to post this in a few days, but I really value your opinion as one of my best customers. What would you like to see from this? Hey, do you have like 5 minutes for a quick call? Right? Make them feel valuable, make them feel included, right? The more we include, especially our best customers, we're doing 2 things. 1, we're increasing their loyalty. People love to be made to feel special, right? And when you increase your loyalty, your know, like, and trust factor, people spend more money with you. And number 2, when you involve your best customers in what it is that you're doing, you are allowing them to see behind the curtain, which gives them a glimpse at your business, which is always going to be a recruiting seed. Always include your customers. Always ask them to help you out because you're letting them test drive it and see it from your side. Okay. So this part of the sequence is also used to judge how receptive the market will be to your offer and to figure out what some primary objections might be. They may say, oh, Peggy, I love the idea of a Facebook group, but I join them all the time. And, I don't go on Facebook a lot. So I miss a lot of the notifications and I just never stick with it. You can go, okay, thanks so much, Karen. Is there somewhere that you do check more regularly? Well, I do check my email every day. I get a lot of my bills there. Would it be helpful if I sent an email every day along with what I'm doing in my posts to direct people to it? Oh, that would be really helpful for me, right? I'm doing an audio course that I'm building out. asked a few of my customers, and some of them said, I love audio because I can listen wherever I am, but I find it hard when I hear something and I want to go back to it. And I said, well, what if I transcribe the entire audio with timestamps? So you can actually find in a book format everything that I've said. So you can go back and highlight and you can go find it. Well, that would be really helpful. Okay, great. I'm going to do that. And then I talk about that in my marketing, because someone who has an objection to audio, maybe someone says, oh, I have hearing problems and it's really hard for me to just listen to audio. Well, guess what? I have it completely transcribed. Well, that works for me. Objection solved. So when people object to what it is that you're saying, don't think, well, this is a sucky idea, right? We just change it. It's the analogy that I've used before of when you're driving and you're using your GPS, the sophisticated equipment that, came from the army, right? And it says turn left. And how many of you still sometimes turn right? It says left, but you still go right. What does it say? It doesn't say, you suck at driving and clearly don't know your rights from your lefts. Go home, you big loser. No, it says what? Rerouting, recalculating. That's it. It gets you on track, right? It doesn't care. And sometimes taking the wrong direction, you're like, I never knew there was a bakery right there. I'm going to stop there on my way home, right? So when your customers come to you with objections, when people say, I don't, love this idea, or here's how I would prefer to have it, don't be like, oh, I suck at ideas. So, wow, like these conversations with my customers are making my offers, my marketing, and my business significantly stronger. This is why follow-up is incredibly important. You leave 50% of income, write that down. You leave 50% of income on the table by not following up. We know that it's true. It's a statistic. You can increase your income by up to 50% just by following up on a more regular basis. But the income aside, the value that you get from your customers, even when it's an objection, even when it's a no, even with I hated this experience. Great, let me know how I can make it better. Let me know how I can make this different for you, more successful for you. That's what makes a good business person. Nobody gets it right all the time. None of us do. Not me, not Al, not Sona, no one. Okay, and we don't expect you guys to either. So that's the first section, something like that post. Oops, I went the wrong direction. Okay, number 2, the pre-launch. We are going to talk about the pre-launch even more next week, because it is the heart and soul of our campaign, okay? So this is where you're going to gradually warm up your audience with approximately 3 pieces of high value content known as pre-launch content, okay? This is where we're getting people really pumped up. You'll use this to activate mental triggers, because remember, we need to always be evoking emotion, right? We need to always be building know, like, and trust. We're going to do this by asserting ourselves and Manatech as the authority, sharing social proof, right? Testimonials, case studies, creating a sense of community through conversation, anticipation, and more. This part of the sequence, and I think I use it as an example, is exactly where something like that article from last week would go, right? So again, we think, well, I have to market Mighty Bears and I want to market this, amazing article that was written about us. And I want to talk about this, that, and the other thing. And we compartmentalize all these pieces and we think, how am I going to market each and every one of these alone? How can we actually use it together so it's all working, right? So we ask that question. People are now intrigued. They're commenting, which triggers the algorithm to go, people are interested in what Joan is saying. She got a lot of comments on this post. She got more engagement. Some of these comments turn into private messages because Joan's following up with people. And so now Facebook is rewarding Joan for the activity on her page and also her activity. The more you show up online, the more you comment, the more you reply back to people, Facebook rewards you for that. Instagram rewards you for that. Because they want you playing the game. Because the only way that they can advertise to you, which is how they make their money, is if you're online. And so the more you're online, the more you're commenting, the more visibility you're going to get. Okay, actually, I think I go into this, I'm just going through this quickly and then I do bring this up again. But like I said, these are going to be 3. It could be a video. One could be the article, right? So one's a Facebook Live, one could be an article, and one could be a video from Dr. Nugent, right? Boom, boom, boom. There's 3. And guess what? You only had to do one of them and you hopped on Facebook Live, right? So this is the meat of it. I'm going to go into it a little bit more today, just very quickly, but this is where we're going to be focusing next week. So you have to come back next Saturday. Or I'm going to call all of you individually and say, hey, I'm on the webinar. Where are you? Okay. Number 3. So we did the pre-launch. We sprinkled the seeds, right? We planted some seeds. We got people interested and intrigued about, ooh, something's coming. We asked questions. We got their input. Number 2, we're now dumping some big value content that is making them even more excited about, and I'm going to show you how to position it too, right? Like, how do I position the article to get people excited about something like Mighty Bears? I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? So we've done that. And then now it's time for me to actually launch what on earth it is that I'm doing, right? So this is the big day you've been building up to. Most of us jump right into launch day. We'll go through that next week, Peggy. It depends on how quickly you want to launch it. A launch sequence like this could be once a week. It could be every day that you do the post. It could be every 2 days. So we'll talk about that next week and I'll give you some more options and how you can kind of lay this out. But most of us jump into the launch day. We just go, oh my gosh, it's available. Look at, here's the post. Here's how much it costs. Here are the features. We don't spend enough time with the benefits and getting people really excited. If a restaurant opened up in your area and they didn't do any marketing, they didn't do a grand opening, and you didn't hear about it other than they just turned the open sign on, right? Is there gonna be a line outside to go to the restaurant? No, you're only gonna stumble across it if you happen to be driving past it and you're really intrigued by it. If you're like, oh, I've been craving Thai, and look, there's a Thai restaurant that just clicked on their open sign. How often is that gonna happen? Rarely, never. Okay, so we can't think that this is going to be successful for us. So this can also be referred to as open cart day. We'll talk about this in 2 weeks. Okay, this starts with an email or a post that pretty much basically says, okay, you can finally buy now, right? You can finally join right now. You can finally sign up right now, because we know by this point, we don't have to do a lengthy post to try to sell people on it, because we've already been doing that throughout the campaign. By this point, we have people going, just give it to me already. I'm excited, right? And then this message is going to continue for a finite amount of days, okay? So it's not available forever. So how do we do that with a product that is available on an ongoing basis, right? Because I remember when I was in the field and a new product came out and I'd make a big deal of it. And I'd have people go, oh my goodness, Lindsay, this sounds amazing. Is it available at any time? And you just think like, yes, but I want you to buy it now, right? That's what you want to say. It is available at any time. You could get it next month, but I would really like you to buy it right now, right? We're not going to say that, but how do we create that scarcity and that anticipation? Even if the product is offered ongoing, adding a bonus that does end can help with that, whether it's a challenge, a coaching call with you, an ebook, something very simple. I'm going to give you an example for Mighty Bears in a minute that I talked to Sona about last night. Something really simple, just to go, do you know what? You can say, do you know what, Sue-Ann, that you can actually purchase this product at any time, but the bonus that I'm adding with it, that actually ends this weekend. Well, I better get it by the end of this weekend then, right? It's up to us to create that additional scarcity. How can we create momentum? Otherwise, people start to go into what? They're like logical brain. They go, well, maybe I'll wait till next payday, or I still have, one thing of Mana Bears at home, so I'll wait till my kids get through that, or, I eat that over the next few days at my desk. and then I'll place an order, right? Or I'll tack that on later. We procrastinate. We have good intentions, but we procrastinate. And then guess what? You don't follow up, so they never actually order it at all. That's what's happening. That's why you're not gaining customers. Create anticipation and follow up. All right, moving on. And then the fourth part of the campaign, which we're going to dig into over the next coming weeks, is the post-launch. This is often forgot about. It is important to close up the campaign because we can't just post something and then hope for the best. We need to continue to nurture and to create follow-up conversations, especially with people who didn't buy from you. So maybe you talked to Sue-Ann and you were like, yes, Sue-Ann, you can get it at any time, but the bonus does end this Sunday. You're gonna wanna talk to Sue-Ann, send her a message. Hey, I noticed that you didn't end up grabbing the product with the bonus. Were you still interested in the product? And she may say, yes, but I wanna wait until my next payday. And then what can you say? You can say, great, why don't I follow up with you next Friday? Does that work for you? That actually is great. It's your responsibility to make the sale. And you're going to only gather that information from marketing, having conversations, and following up. You may also get from that conversation, she may say, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna grab it, but the bonus wasn't like all that compelling to me. Okay, great. What would a compelling bonus look like to you? Well, I would have loved this. Awesome. I'm going to keep that in mind for next time. If you even want to flex your customer service, you can even offer her that. You can say, do you know what? I know that you're looking for a little bit more one-on-one coaching. Why don't we do this? If you want to grab that product today, I can do that for you. We can add that in for you as your bonus. If it feels like that's valuable to you and that's worth it to you, if it's not a huge ask, why don't I create that specific? Are you sure? Yeah. Okay, great. I'm gonna go grab my credit card. Cool, I'll call you in 2 minutes. Right? You can not only can you get the sale there, but you can get feedback for your next launch. You can personalize a launch for them. They may, you get an idea for a completely new offer and so much more from that conversation. Because we always need to be launching, right? I said this, months ago when we talked about how to launch and relaunch your business. You always need to be launching. The beginning of the year, every single quarter, every new product, right? Every anniversary of yours with Manatech. These are all amazing times to launch, and you can use this sequencing. Humans connect through stories. This is really important when we're going to talk about our pre-launch content, especially next week. So I want to show you guys a bit of an example here. Okay, for the last little bit of this training. So we're going to dig into this even more. So I'm going to move a little quick, but I just wanted you to understand a little bit more so you could get some ideas flowing this week. So next week you can implement it, right? Because we're not coming to trainings because trainings are fun. We're coming to trainings so we can put them into action. So there's going to be some homework. So this, we call it PLC, pre-launch content number 1. Okay, so the first thing after you've done that pre-launch question of, hey, I have this secret ingredient, I want to tell you guys more about it. I thought the coolest way to do it would be whatever. I just used a Facebook group, a private Facebook group as an example. Let me know what your biggest challenge is, and I want to hear from you about this. You're creating those conversations, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to really drop the seed about the opportunity or the journey for transformation. At the heart of every Manatech product is an opportunity for transformation or change. Whether it's physical change or even emotional and mental change, right? There's something, how many of you on the first day that you start a new health goal, whether it's you drank water, you went on a walk, you went to the gym, you ate cleaner foods, whatever that looks like. How many of you on day 1 feel better? Right? And it's not just because, we may feel like, oh, I feel a little bit less bloated today. I feel a little bit lighter, but we also feel better about ourselves because when we are intentionally loving ourselves, we actually feel the manifestation of that love and that joy. There's something really special about learning to take care of ourselves and what comes with that emotionally and mentally. Even today, just putting on makeup helped me feel better because it wasn't the makeup. It's just that I took time to say, okay, I'm going to wash my face and brush my hair and put on real people clothes and put on some earrings because I matter and it's okay, right? That self, working on myself, that care creates so much. And so we want to talk about, because of course, within this transformation, we always need to be careful about making claims, but that's why I wanted to mention too, the feeling, right? People connect more to feelings than anything, right? Even if you look at like weight loss, people don't want to lose 10 pounds. People don't want to lose 20 pounds, 50 pounds. People want to fit in the pair of jeans that they've had in their drawer from the last 2 years. People want to feel more confident in their clothes. People want to feel a certain way. It's not about the weight loss. It's what is the weight loss or what is this new health thing make me feel? Right? I bought a dress that now that I have a pregnant belly, I can obviously not zip up. And I was going to return it and I just love it so much. I'm keeping it, right? And for me, it's not about making my body smaller. It's just, I really want to wear this dress after the baby comes someday, right? I don't care about the weight loss. I care about what does everything else make me feel, right? Obviously, being pregnant, I have more different values of I want to be able to run around with my kid. I want to be a very active parent, right? I want to feel involved and engaged with my child. I don't want to lose 20 pounds. But that weight loss, that's going to be a part of living a healthier lifestyle. So get to the transformation, okay? So it can be the emotional side or it can be something that is more physical, but even the physical creates a story around it. How is this physical transformation going to make you feel? Right? Okay. So what will this sort of first post look like? We're going to go into this in depth next week. So I'm going to fly by this right now. You're going to show that opportunity. How is this going to change your life? Why is this so exciting? The position. Why should they listen to you? That's going to be included. We're going to break this down and how to do this in a video and in a post next week. And I'm going to show you examples. So you're going to really understand it. This is a great spot to showcase something like the latest article that was written, right? One of the things I'll say about that article that is it did make me, I don't know if it made other people, it made me sign in to read it. Did you guys have to do that? People are not going to do that unless they really care to read it. I signed in with it, said, do you want to sign in with your Apple ID to read this article? Sure. That's why I said take screenshots and include the link. So if you're wanting to share a portion of that article, right, it goes through a few different sections. If you're like, ooh, this really speaks to what I'm talking about today, and I want to add some authority, I'm going to take a screenshot and say, if you want to read the full article, you can do so here. You have to make information easily accessible for your customers. I was willing to sign in and read it, but your customers they're not going to do it. I'm just telling you right now. Okay, so take screenshots of it. In this piece of content, you want to absolutely teach something. I'm going to show you how to do that. You can raise objections and answer them. Okay, and then you're going to foreshadow the next piece of content. So you're going to say you're teaching on something, the power of aloe, okay? And then you take a little snippet from whether it's an article or something that Dr. Nugent said, it adds some authority. It's not just, me from my town giving you this information. It's I'm sharing this with you and look what this expert said, right? And you say like, here's why aloe is a powerhouse and is a secret ingredient you've been missing. And you're going to say tomorrow or 2 days from now, whatever your sequence is going to look like, I'm going to hop on Facebook Live again, and I'm going to teach you A, B, and C. Because you get them excited. When you watch a show on television, when that episode ends, Before they cut to commercial, what do they show you? Scenes from the next episode so that you come back, right? You're like, I want to watch it now, right? Because they know that they have to market the next episode to you. You have to market your next piece of content. Again, we're going through this quick, but we're going to go through it next week. And then always ask for a call to action. Ask them to comment. Create a conversation. This isn't a lecture. Okay, that second piece of content, I'm going to fly through this because we don't have a lot of time, and I'm going to go very slowly through this next week. You'll thank people for, hey everyone, like, thanks for joining my last Facebook Live. Sarah asked this amazing question and I wanted to make sure that I covered it today. And maybe it was something about what makes Manitex aloe different from any other aloe product that I can get at the health food store. You answer that. And you say, I'm really excited about, talking to you all about this because of that possibility for opportunity, right? You're going to provide here either a testimonial or a case study or even some more valuable training. Maybe you talk about some more objections and say, hey, this is what we're going to talk about in my next video. Again, we're promoting the next thing. It's not about, and I know this is going to take some, rewiring because we're so used to just, this is launched. Here's the graphic. I'm going to post it, right? I'm actually asking you to slow down a little bit. But I'm asking you to warm up your customers more. And if you do this on a more regular basis, you actually will be able to post things a lot quicker like you have been because you already have an engaged and informed and educated audience that trusts you and is like, if he says this is the best thing, then I'm grabbing it because I've learned from all these other pieces of why this is important. And then we have the third one, which does very similar to the last one, but this time now we're talking about the offer that we have and something really exciting. It could be, tomorrow I'm finally launching this challenge group that I talked about. I only got 20 spots. Okay, so we're building that anticipation. We're creating that scarcity for the offer. And we're saying, check back in. And then this is where we then get to launch. We get to say, okay, it's live. We're going to talk about this in 2 weeks and more in depth. Just wanted you guys to get, some of you are like quick starters and you're like, just give me the info and I'm going to go with this, right? On that launch day, you get to say something like, okay, everyone, I just opened my Facebook group here. We're now live. Linz, P.S. You don't need to panic. I don't expect to fill up immediately. However, if you want one of these spots, then please don't delay. Spots are going fast. Click here. Do you see how simple this is on a launch day? Because you don't have to spend so much time trying to convince them because you've already done it. It's just get to the point and tell me where to go. Where do I click buy? Where do I sign up for that thing? Right? And so if we're trying to lead people, for example, into a Facebook group, that's our little bonus for adding. How do I get them to buy the product? Well, number one, that can be in the prior post, but I like to just get people to do one task at a time. So if you're saying, I'm creating this fun group, we've talked about it, here it is, it's free, but I'm only going to be working with, 40 people at most. Join this. In the questions that people can answer, we went through this to get into your group. One of those questions can be, say you're promoting Mighty Bears. Hey, did you go and grab, which is a prerequisite for your group, which they know about. Did you grab your Mighty Bears yet? If not, click here to go buy it. It can be an announcement in the group of here's how to go buy that product because you can only stay in this group if you're on this product. And number three, you can follow up with everyone who's joining the group. Hey, Sally, I saw that you joined the group. Here's the link to go buy the product. Anyone who hasn't purchased the product in the next 24 hours will be removed from the group. Right? So that's how you get people to get excited about that. So let's look at an example. So we're going to look at Mighty Bears as an example. So love what Sona did at Momentum about using this superhero language to evoke emotion, right? Who is the superhero? That could be something that is in your pre-launch content, right? It could be a post that says, hey everyone, it could still be something about that secret ingredient that you are wanting to share. And you could say it's great for adults and kids alike. I'm creating a fun challenge for parents and grandparents who want to help the littles in their life, get this new habit or get excited about taking daily vitamins. And then you incorporate something about who is like the superhero in your family. Before we get started, I have a few questions, right? These can be some things that you do, right? Because we're building up this excitement for it. I was talking to Sona yesterday and I said, I grew up, I didn't know about Manatech when I was a kid, but I grew up taking Flintstones vitamins. My mom bought Flintstones vitamins, and that's what we took every single day. And I thought about, why was I excited to take those? A few reasons. One, it came in different flavors, and my mom let me choose the flavor that I wanted. Boom, we have that. That's great. We talk about that. Number two, my mom let me sit on the counter when she gave us our vitamins at night. And number three, I loved the Flintstones. How do we get parents excited about Mighty Bears for them and their kids? The nutritional ingredients, what it means for them as a parent and their child's health. We talk about the emotions and the family and all those different things. How do we get kids excited about Mighty Bears? They're colorful, they taste good, and we need to make them fall in love with the Mighty Bear character. So something I asked Sona last night was, can we get a coloring sheet of Mighty Bear that associates can send to their customers? So parents and grandparents can print them out so their kids can color them. Why? Because they're just seeing the recognition of the character. They're falling in love with the character. So they could be at home or at grandma's house coloring a Mighty Bear. And then when grandma says, hey, do you want your Mighty Bear? Because you're going to be strong like him. What do they say? Yes. Right? They don't care about the science. They care about the fun and what that feels like. So something that we could do that you could use, that's this like bonus, is that it could be you offer a coloring sheet, right? Your group about Mighty Bears could be about, how do I help parents and grandparents create new healthy habits for their kids? One of the questions in the pre-launch could be, what is the biggest struggle, whether it's for you or your child, to create new healthy habits? You may hear, I have really picky eaters, or, whatever, a variety of different things. It's going to help you in your offer. That is very important, because when we think about this, we think, I need to have this whole thing sorted before I post about it. No, I want you to go post about something and then get feedback on it, and that's going to help us plan. Okay. So something could be, why don't your kids take vitamins? What does being a superhero for your family mean to you? Because again, we know that kids don't buy vitamins, right? Or products, parents buy them. So how do we speak to the parents, right? What does being a superhero for your family mean to you as a parent and grandparent? Well, it means that I keep my child safe, and I give them as many opportunities as I can. I make them feel loved. I nurture them. I take care of their health. That's what being a superhero to my child means to me. Ask parents that. They're going to give you ideas. And then guess what? You're building on their emotion and the love for their child. They are going to buy the products because of how much you remind them that they love their children and how much they love themselves and their family. If you want to sell Mighty Bears to adults for them to take them, then you talk about like the fun. You talk about, having that, like, I love having them on my desk for when I'm working. And by the afternoon, I'm like dying for some sort of like sweet or a treat, or I just want something. And I take a Mana Bear. It's like something I really enjoy throughout the day. I'm always like, how many of these am I allowed to eat? Right? And so you talk about those things. So the pre-launch content in this case could be to build trust in Manatech, could talk about the article, talk about the ingredients that are in there, talk about aloe, share case studies and testimonials from other parents or families. Maybe you have a customer that said, I have the pickiest eater who will not eat their fruits and vegetables, but they love their Mana Bears. But you can just switch it to be Mighty Bears if they don't have that one yet. They love taking their Mighty Bears, right? You're showing like, look, this parent did it. Their kids they're picky eaters, right? You share that. Offers that transformation could be health or that mindset around health. And then you have your launch. You can talk about, maybe in this group, if you want to focus on Mighty Bears, you talk about how to create a new habit for kids, how to attach taking vitamins to something fun, right? That could be a tip for parents. Like I said, my mom let us sit on the counter. It wasn't about taking the vitamin. We just thought we were like super cool that my mom let us sit on the counter in the kitchen. Like we would literally like race each other to the kitchen after, when we knew it was time for bed and we were starting our bedtime routine. That was just a part of it, right? And then you can offer fun kids activities like the coloring sheet of Mighty Bears and more, right? Because this is all working together and it's creating it nice and simple and easy for families. It's something that they can engage in depending on where you are in the world. You know, we went into another lockdown here. Our kids are finally like going back into school, but there's still so much going on. Parents are still home with their kids now more than ever. You know, they're not in as many extracurricular activities due to COVID. They're not seeing their friends as much. They're with their parents. They're alone. So parents are taking on and grandparents are taking on a magnitude of new roles that they never had to be before. You know, before they were just the parent and the grandparent. Now they're the friend and the teacher and the playmate and all these other roles. How can I make this nice and simple and make people excited about Mighty Bears? It's not just doing one post. It's creating an experience. And like I mentioned earlier, turning it into an event. And then what are other things you can do during a campaign? Remember, this is just an overview. We're going to go through everything. But don't forget to update your social decor, right? Your cover photo, your profile picture, right? You can make a banner on Canva. You can make a border on Canva that is like superhero themed. I know Sona had found that really fun sort of frame at her local dollar store. You could look into that, but you could also just do something digitally, right? You can update your Facebook group. You can decorate your Facebook lives. Maybe while you're talking about Mighty Bears, go online, go on Amazon and order like a superhero shirt for a few bucks, or, grab an old t-shirt and get someone with a cry cut or cricket, however you say it, get them to do, a little like superhero thing. Wear a cape in your Facebook lives, make it fun, right? But if you want to promote something, really make a big deal about it. Michael said, love the bonus idea, like buy 2 or more on subscription and get a free Mighty Bear coloring sheet. Yeah. Right? It's like, that's something for parents. They automatically go, oh, that's like my kid loves coloring, or like there's an afternoon activity on Sunday that I can just cross off the list. Boom. Nice and simple. And then again, we're building, you have to think about the whole picture. How do I make kids fall in love with this too? The character, they want to be like Mighty Bear. So when you're talking about even the superhero, talk about who Mighty Bear is. He is the superhero for his family. Why do kids love Christmas? Why do kids love losing their teeth? Like losing your teeth is so weird. Why do they love, Easter, all these different things? Because of the characters attached to them. Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny. They fall in love with characters. And so make Mighty Bears human in your marketing. Talk about who Mighty Bear is. What do they stand for? What do they want to accomplish? Why do they love your family? Why does Manatech love your family as much as you love your family? And why do you as the associate, like, what is your story around that? Right? So all these things are going to come into play. So we covered a lot of things. The biggest thing I wanted you guys to walk away from today is understanding that a campaign or marketing or launching something requires multiple touch points, not just one post. And we're going to expand our thinking about that. And so it's not just one post. And along the way, we're always going to be creating conversations and talking to our customers. So the next few weeks, we're going to continue to build out this launch sequence. So next week, we're going to talk about the pre-launch and get deeper into that. So your homework for this week, because I'm going to be stricter about homework here, friends, because I want you guys to be successful. I want you guys to be like, yes, it's worked for me, or this is what I learned. I don't want you to give up an hour of your Saturday every week with me just to check something off the box, to go, I attended a training today with Lindsay and that makes me a good business owner. No, what makes you a good business owner is putting the training that you learn into action. So your homework for this week is to come with sort of your outline of what you think you want to do, whether it's you want to launch Mighty Bears or maybe it's the Happy Gut Box, right? What am I kind of thinking? Am I thinking a Facebook group? Am I thinking I want to offer like a coloring sheet bonus? Do I want to offer a small group coaching where we just meet on Zoom? What is it that I want to offer? What's in my wheelhouse? What do I feel excited about doing? And I want you to come with some ideas around that. But I want you to post your pre-launch question to your audience. I want you to plant the seed that you're working on something exciting and you want their feedback. And you're not just going to post this one time. And if nobody comments, you're just going to go like, you're a loser, go home. No, reroute, ask the question in a different way. Try it as a Facebook Live versus a post. Do it on a story. Post it again for a few days. Privately message some of your customers. I want you to get some intel from your customers. That is your homework for this week. Does that seem reasonable to come with an idea and to ask our audience a question? You can do it on your personal page, your business page, wherever it is that you want. You can do it everywhere. Do we feel that is reasonable? Raise your hand. Absolutely. Perfect. Okay. Yay. I love seeing all of this. 2022, my friends, is a year for action. We're going to get moving. Okay. Another piece of homework for you. The book is very helpful. I use it constantly. Okay. So if you like buying books, if you're like, Lindsay, I'm going to buy that book and never read it, that's okay. Just come to the training. You don't need to buy it. But this is an optional. Launch by Jeff Walker. Okay. Thanks, guys. I know I went a few minutes over today. Again, how are we feeling about this? How are we feeling? Good? Excited? Like I said, today I tried to preface it with today is an overview. It's a lot. Do not spiral. Yeah, I love that. The little bear. I love it. Use that in all like your Facebook Lives. Use it, talk about it, right? Don't let yourself spiral. When you get overwhelmed, instead, think about it as space for opportunity. What can I create from this? What are the possibilities? Whoa, Lindsay just gave me a lot of information. There's so many possibilities here. Not, whoa, Lindsay gave me a lot of information and now I'm like going down the drain because I can't do this and this is hard and blah, 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 blah. Right? That's all you're hearing is the Charlie Brown, wah, wah, wah. Wow, look at all this information. There's so many possibilities. Remind yourself of that this week. Thank you guys so much. This made me feel better. I'll probably have to go throw up in a second, but I love you guys so much. I've missed you guys tremendously, and I'm really excited to see where we can go with this. So get your thinking hats on, ask your questions, grab Mighty Bears for yourself so that you make sure you have them for your lives and all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys. I'll talk to you guys this week for sure. But I will see you next week with your homework done and ready to dive into the pre-launch content. Bye, friends.